The propagation of the gospel. 11. Continuation of the first epistle to the Corinthians. Chapters 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. What is the subject of the third division of the book? What was the moral reputation of the city of Corinth? How did the evils implied affect the Christian community? Just like what is the reputation of modern America? As statistically true as most of those bad things can be, there's plenty of people who don't fall into it. And certain groups that, don't do as well, doesn't mean that you find someone from those groups and they have those same problems. Or even that most of the people are, like that or anything like that. What rebuke does the apostle administer become a member because a member had been allowed to marry his stepmother? What does he say of the moral flagrancy of this act? Well, in America, we say that's legal, but I can't think of a religion that allows that. What had the church done to regard to it, and what should have been done? What direction does Paul give? Had he authority to this order? 5, 1 through 5. What further direction is given, and for what reason? 6 through 8. What is meant by the old leaven? What is the lesson taught concerning our associations in the world and in the church? 9 through 11. What practice respecting the settlement of controversies among Christians, and on what grounds? 6, 1 through 7. What practices does he rebuke? Verse 8 through 10. Were these vices probably generally prevalent among Christians? Verse 11. What rules laid down concerning the use of the body? Verse 12, 19, and 20. Was there any reason why those who were already married should separate and families be broken up? 7, 10, and 11. Jesus was a more family value character than Paul was. The rule concerning the Christians who had unbelieving wives or husbands, 12 through 17. What was there in the condition of Christians, and especially of Christian ministers in those times, in some respects unfavorable to marriage? What tendency was possible in the married life, which was not as likely to be in the unmarried? 26 through 34. What is the main subject of the fourth division of the epistle? Was the flesh of an animal that had been offered in sacrifice to an idol any worse on that account? 8. Was it not possible, nevertheless, that in the estimation of some, the eating of such flesh might sanction idolatry? 7. Well, not quite, but if it's offered, you're taking part in the process, so that's, you're definitely taking a share in things. Like, you don't have to perform the act of evil magic if you take part in the act of evil magic by encouraging it, by putting some money in, because some people are like, oh, I'm afraid to do this sorcery myself, so I'm going to hire a witch. And it's like, really? People trying to use their stimuluses to hire sorcerers and whatnot. What damage may be done by thus using one's liberty, even where it is not against one's own conscience? And what rule is laid down? 9 through 13. What were some of the things which Paul and other apostles were at liberty to do, but from which, for the sake of others, they abstained. 9, 1 through 13. The reasons for this, verses 14 through 23. What figure does he use here, and why would it be familiar to the people of Corinth? Verses 24 through 27. What examples of warning are given to the Corinthian Christians? Chapter 10, verse 1 through 11. What privileges and advantages did God's ancient people enjoy? What sin did they commit, and what punishments were consequent? Yeah, if you look at the, it's not like they were God's only people. God made sure everybody had guidance from prophets and such, but the Israelites were always getting punished and corrected with new prophets, and one after the other, and the other and other. It probably got more chances than any other nation. Can you find in the Old Testament that instances referred to? Is any temptation to sin irresistible? Verse 12 and 13. How were the Corinthian brethren to regard idolatry? Verses 14 through 22. Was it sufficient argument in favor of indifference to say, the idol is nothing, and why? Verse 20 and 21. What final rule is laid down respecting the eating of things offered to idols? What are some points of the argument? 23 through 33.